84 in the country. Congratulations, Friday Frenzy. Everything real estate in 10 minutes. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up. My goodness, that Friday comes around so quickly. I cannot believe it. It really does. And every week that goes by, I just think to myself, how much more could possibly happen in this country? It's a lot that goes on.
And it just
It's
keeps
all breaking
rolling.
news. It's all breaking news as well. But breaking news this morning in the real estate world, I'll tell you guys a funny story. The REB rankings came out yesterday. So REB are, I guess, they're the news moguls of the real estate and business world. Look these guys up if you're not following them.
Real estate business.
Yeah.
Is what it's abbreviated from. Sorry about my voice.
Yeah, it's not COVID. It's not COVID. So it really, a phenomenal company they are. If you're not following these guys, you should. They put out some great content.
Great guys as well.
But one thing that they do is they do rankings right across the country for the real estate world. And yesterday, the top 100 list came out. And I was flicking through the list, and I swear I was like, oh my God, that's my name. I honestly could not believe. I swear I couldn't believe it.
How do they do that ranking?
So it works on really, GCI is what it works on. So gross commission, amount of sales. There is a metrics mark that goes into it.
Yep.
Because obviously support staff.
Yep.
Obviously, certain people are selling higher volumes for less money. Some people are selling for more money, less volumes. So I'm sure they amortize it out, but there is a metrics involved.
Hey, Luke.
Good morning, Luke. Good morning, Jonathan. So yes, ranked in the top 100 real estate agents amongst men and women in the country. But one thing I noted, Mark, was obviously I've only been in sales now it's just on 4 years, actually. Most of these greats in the industry had their years of experience were sitting at sort of an average of 15 years. So
the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be next year. You're going to commit to it today?
Yeah, I've got it. So I came in ranked, I think it was 82 or 84, was it? Yep. I definitely want to be sitting in that top 50 next year. So stay tuned, watch this space.
You heard it here. You made the commitment.
Yeah. Let's see how we go with that. But yes, I'd like to. But can I just say, with those rankings, that's the top 100, and congratulations to those agents because it is a phenomenal achievement.
A lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
It is. But I also just want to say congratulations to the agents that weren't on the list because this is a relentless industry. It really is. The hours that we work in real estate, there is no off switch.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it really is. So, there's a lot of hard work, hard yakka that goes into the job that we do. And I know a lot of people say, well, you earn the big bucks. But the reality is that I don't reckon if people knew what was involved, I'm not sure many people would swap lives. It's a lot of hard work.
You know what?
It's very rewarding.
I think
it's very rewarding.
I think it's in any industry. I reckon if you want to be faster, better, stronger, more helpful, more honoured, more responsive, if you're willing to do what other people are not willing to do, you're going to dominate. Yeah. And I think that's going to be in any field, whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a garbage truck driver, a whatever, you will just shoot up that ladder if you just do what others are not prepared to do. And I think when you're putting more into this world than you're taking out, you go up the ladder. When you're taking more out of this world than you're putting in, you're going down the ladder. So it's and
Luke's saying harder work required. I mean, I'm not sure that I can.
That's a really good question. How are you going to do it?
Well, I'm not sure that harder work is possible because there's no more hours in the day. I work really, really hard. I put everything I've got into every single transaction. Whether it's a one-bedroom apartment or a $10 million property, it's getting the same level of attention. It is about systems. And I know it sounds really boring, but it is.
Like McDonald's.
That's what it's about. So it's about just having a good look at what I do under a microscope.
Discipline. When I think of McDonald's, I think discipline, I think systems.
Yep.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is probably the hardest thing of all.
Which, I'm pretty good with that. I'm pretty good with consistency, but just having a good look under a microscope at what the day looks like and asking myself, is there someone else that could do this task? Is that
better?
Yeah. Is that, how am I going to be more dollar productive? I think is the way. So, I don't know. Let's see how we go. Watch this space. Watch this space. Breaking news this week. It's been everywhere. Interest rate rises.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
God, yes. What a topic. How much has this one blown out of control? Yeah, I love the news. They bloody grab something and they run with it, and they love to instill fear in people.
But I do have to say, with interest rate rises,
it's real.
People have factored them in for a year. So when it happened, everyone was like, yeah. And, I think if it happened when we didn't expect it, which we've had happen previously, we've had rates go up or down and it's been unexpected.
Yeah.
I think that's when there's an aftershock. But I think that it's just more of the same. There's no aftershock because everyone was expecting it.
Everyone was expecting it. And Jonathan's right. It's been overhyped. I agree. Not to say that it's not going to hurt people. It will. Yeah. But interest rates were so low that, yes, they've lifted them marginally, and there likely will be another interest rate hike as well, but they're still historically low. And I actually did a video on this the other day, Mark, where I was saying, let's have a look at property and what real estate's done over the last few months on the northern beaches. I posted a graph on my socials. It literally looks like a roller coaster.
Yep.
So in November, December was probably when we saw the biggest peak of property. Then it took a nosedive. So if you're getting a discount, like I sold a property the other day, we had a guide on that property of 2.75 initially.
Yep.
We ended up having to, unfortunately, meet the market with that guide, and we eventually ended up guiding 2.3. We got the property sold. But the point is that those vendors ended up getting close to $500,000 less than what they were anticipating. They got caught in the landslide.
Oh.
So for those people that are saying, but interest rates, this is the half-yearly clearance sale, guys, for property right now on the northern beaches.
Yep.
So the marginal rise of interest rates as opposed to what that market has just done, am I missing something?
No, you know what I reckon? It's no one's got the balls to say this, but it's forced savings. With when we were sitting at 0.1% with the Reserve Bank, and now we're going to 0.35, like, they're not stealing the money, they're not robbing the money, they're clipping it.
Yeah.
And it's going to the coffers. It's going to the coffers for the country. It's forced savings. So, I would be really pissed if it was out of my pocket and sent overseas. It's like, where did that go? But it's forced savings. So I think there's a time to spend and there's a time to save. And I think this country's been spending to keep themselves afloat. It's not a bad time to start saving.
Yeah.
Now, So
I agree.
Everyone sort of has that. And that brings me comfort in, I know where it's going, why it's going, when it's going. And if it goes up again, it's forced savings for the country.
And we did put a graph in there also just on our socials, guys, and we actually broke it down because sometimes I find the news will report stuff that no one really understands.
Yeah.
Like if you ask our 23-year-old daughter, what does that interest rate rise mean for her property in terms of dollars and cents, she wouldn't have a clue. So we've broken it down into easy bite-sized chunks for you guys. I think it was at about $1 million. Per $1 million, it worked out to be about $16 a week. Please don't quote me on that, but I'm off by maybe a few dollars and cents. So we have broken it down.
I was going to bring it up for you, but our media channel internally is crazy and I can't find
it. It is. I have posted it on our socials. It is on Novak socials as well, but that might help you guys just to understand exactly what that interest rate rise means. Talking about hype, the election.
Yes.
So very political today. I feel like we were quite political.
Yeah.
So
Who are you
obviously,
going to vote for?
I'm not even going to say, because I'm not a particularly political person, but I also just don't want to be absolutely annihilated. I think it's the obvious. We're in business. I think it's the obvious who we're going to vote for. Yeah. And I don't really, please don't have a go at me for, saying that everyone's entitled to vote for whoever they want.
Oh, I do have to say, and I've said it a couple
The
of
swing
times,
vote.
you got to watch
You love this.
the preferential voting or the swing voting. You may think it's a clear win, left or right or whatever it is, but watch out for the guys that are sitting hovering in the middle. If you're voting for an independent, do you know where their preferential voting or swing voting, whatever they call it's going to go? Are they going to push it over to Liberal? Are they going to push it over to Labor? Keep an eye out on that. I think that's going to be. I remember a couple of elections ago, it stuffed us. Jonathan, got to say.
I think there are high school kids who have never known a rate rise. My youngest was so worried. I had to explain that we are set up to deal with 8% rates. It's so true. I actually signed up a property yesterday, and beautiful clients. She was from New Zealand. They're heading back there.
Yeah.
And she was saying to me, we've never had an interest rate less than about 4%. So
it's nuts.
People just aren't used to the low interest rates that we've had.
It's nuts.
But back to politics.
Yeah.
So and the last time I spoke anything about politics, I had a couple of people actually sabotage me on my socials. I'm not a political person. I'm not giving you.
Don't talk about politics then.
No, but this is just an opinion. The property market and politics, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, we're just going to wait and see what happens until after the election." What does it matter who gets in? Luke's asking, like, am I? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's always happened though. Everyone,
every 4 years,
people love to hold their breath if they've got a good excuse, and then when they release their breath, they're like, and they don't even know why they did that for. So that sort of that pre-election jitters or the pre-interest rate jitters, then it happens, and then people go, okay, now they almost look for the next thing to hold their breath on.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that shits me in the market at the moment is we'll wait.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about.
Wait for what?
That's what I want to talk about.
Wait for X. And then you get to X and they go, oh yeah, we're gonna wait.
Yeah.
And then you get to Y, and they're going to go, we're going to wait. And it keeps going, and it keeps going, And it's people are abstaining or holding their breath and don't even know why. They're just finding an excuse. Each time the excuse passes, they find another excuse. That's sentiment in the marketplace. And if sentiment in the marketplace is high, people are not asking that question.
So stock levels actually, new stock launching to market is actually very low. And now we're Northern Beaches centric, please understand, but I do speak to a lot of agents right around the country. Stock levels, new stock coming to market is low. There's a stalemate going on. People are in a holding pattern. They're waiting out for election. But hear this, guys, you are better to sell in isolation than to sell in competition. And guess what's going to happen on the 22nd of May? Probably the 23rd of May, because that'll be a Monday. Guess what's going to happen? There's going to be an avalanche of stock hitting the market. That's what's going to end up happening. They're my predictions.
Is there going to be an avalanche of buyers?
Look, I think it's going to depend on who's going to get in. We are still seeing buyers out in the marketplace. Whoever thinks that stock isn't selling, do yourself a favour, guys. Go to realestate.com or go to Domain and have a look in the sold section. And please show me where in the last week or two stock didn't sell. I'm really interested to see that. Right? The figures don't lie. Stock is selling. It's just selling at a different rate, but it's selling at a higher rate than what it was selling at 12 months ago.
It's easier to not do than to do. And on the back of what Luke's saying, humans love excuses. People love to just do nothing.
Yep.
If it's a human emotion. So to push forward, to make things happen, requires energy. To status quo, stay there, do nothing, requires no energy.
And guess what?
So it's quite easy for people just to
No, but guess what else? Just before we wrap up, people don't like change. That's the bottom line. Because guess what we were talking about? Well, but guess what we were all talking about before interest rate? Right. Everyone's like, now they're like interest rate, right? Interest rate. That's all we hear about. But people do forget, right? Next topic of discussion will be elections. Then it'll be something else.
Yeah.
But prior to the interest rate rises, it was COVID. How many cases are there a day? Can someone tell me? Do we know?
300,000, 250,000.
Yeah, but we used to know to the person. We used to know that there were 283 cases a day.
Current active cases, I think.
Are we tracking it daily? No one even cares. People forgot about it. People don't like change, right? That's the reality of it. And right now there's been an interest rate change. It unsettles people. We get used to it. Then there'll be maybe a government change. People will freak. Then we get used to it. That's just the nature of the beast. I think that's the nature of the human.
Thank God that you're not shy, Lisa, because with my voice today, you just did a really good job. Lisa did a great job today. She was like, I've got this. Your voice.
I noticed when the girls are on, we talk a lot.
She got this. And, yeah.
Lucky I was saving his voice. All right, off to training we go.
8 o'clock training today.
See you guys. Have an awesome weekend. Oh, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums. Mwah.
Yeah,
you rock.
Sunday, give your mum a big kiss. And if you're not talking to your mum, talk to your mum. Make up.
100%.
Get the family to make up this
100%.
with mum.
Love you, mum.
Not that we're not talking to our mums. I just thought, like, this is the time for resolution.
We got to go. See you guys. Bye.